Hey all, it's your girl T.Speaks. I'm back with another segment of Understanding the Black Man. I'm on a personal mission to change the way that Black men and Black people are viewed in social media. So today I'm going to be talking with my lovely, beautiful guests, Mr. Heavily Motivated and his fiance, Miss the lovely Lakita. Um, we're going to be talking some incredible stuff. We're going to be talking about Black issues, relationships, and you guessed it, life. So be sure to hit the like button, drop a comment, share, follow this story, follow us, and we're going to get started. So with that being said, actually, I take that back. Ladies first.
Thank you.
All right.
First, I'm tripping. Tell us a little bit about you, like just a quick snapshot of like your background. What do you do for a living, and where are you guys located?
Absolutely. Well, I went to Livingstone College, a small HBCU in North Carolina. I graduated with my Bachelor's of Science in Mathematics. While I was attending college, I played numerous sports: basketball, volleyball, track, anything to keep me active, anything to pay for that tuition.
Okay.
I was all the way down to do it. Currently, I work for a amazing company called ADP, which is Automatic Data Processing. I'm a payroll solution specialist. I specialize in payroll and in human capital management within all business types. So I'm originally from Newport News, Virginia, and that's a little bit about me.
Nice. Thank you. Okay, your turn, Mr. Heavily Motivated.
All right. My resume isn't that spectacular. Should I elaborate? Should I be honest?
I want you to
Absolutely.
be honest and raw.
Be honest.
We're not
Honest
here to
and raw?
judge. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm really was raised between the church and the crack house, I would say, and I grew up thinking that I was going to be your Al Pacino or Scarface, or I was going to be like the Wu-Tang Clan or your biggest drug dealer you ever seen. That was my ambitions as a child. And that was my ambitions even as a young adult.
Mm-hmm.
And I suffered from it, tragically spent a lot of time away from my family, friends, and loved ones, and out of society. And one day I woke up. One day I just woke up and decided that it was more to me. It was levels to this. And it was more to me than just being a drug dealer. And I figured if I could successfully distribute narcotics, maybe I could successfully be a productive member of society. And through changes and people that was put in my life that told me truths about my situation, I decided to sort of embrace it. Mm-hmm. And now that I've embraced doing right, I go as hard in real life as I used to go doing wrong. And my intensity has given me success because I'm so intense about whatever I do. It just finally I'm intense about doing the right thing. But I still go hard for it. It's just I'm going hard for my family and going hard for what's legal right now.
Yeah.
So that's my base. And she talked about the basketball. I can't even beat her in basketball, which is real embarrassing. She beat me in front of my kids.
That's so funny.
Sometimes we gotta school them. Sometimes.
It's not funny. It's not funny, baby. But as far as education, I graduated high school. I speak fluent Spanish. I'm good in sign language. I can do some conversational Arabic. I'm very intelligent. And right now, I'm just out here fighting crime, I think. I feel like the Black Superman right now.
You are the Black Superman. You got the Black Superwoman right next to you.
Yes, you got that queen right here.
Yes, for sure. That's actually what attracted me to your page, Mr. Heavily Motivated, was that I saw the video that you posted of like the sign language, and I was like, that is so badass. Mm-hmm. How did you like learn that, or tell us like the story behind you knowing sign language?
Well, my brother, he was 10 years younger than me, so that makes him 28. He's like 90% deaf. It's not even hearing impaired. He's just deaf. And I grew up doing sign language, but the problem that happened was I spent so much time in the streets or away from home that I forgot the sign language that I grew up learning how to do. Mm-hmm. And that's why I'm fluent in Spanish, because I was around a lot of Spanish people, because the criminal justice system is full of Spanish people also. But my sign language fell off because I didn't have time to practice it. And a couple of deaf dudes that I did run into that were incarcerated, they didn't want to sit around and practice doing sign language. So I never really had the opportunity to practice my sign language to talk to my brother because I wasn't around nobody that was deaf.
Right. And then after you came out, you reconnected with your family and you started doing the sign language again. Is that what happened?
Yeah, and I reconnected, and initially with him and I we'd sit back and just send text messages to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And we have our family sign language. Like we have household sign language that we do, that we have different codes and hand signals where we understand each other. But recently he was going through some issues in his life. And I decided that I was going to revamp my sign language skills to show him like, hey, I do still support you and I do still care. You know, I'm going to try to communicate with you on your level. Since he can't communicate with me verbally, I had to realize I had to step my game up and remember the sign language that I forgot.
I think that's incredible, your story that you went away and you came back and you had to like reintroduce yourself into the family, reintroduce yourself into the sign language culture and just everything. It must have been pretty tough for you. What are some of the things that you feel like help you to get grounded again after you got released from prison?
I don't look at it that way. I look at it different. I had to learn how to adjust to being locked up. I didn't have to make an adjustment to be free. I didn't have to make an adjustment to come home and do what I was born to do. I had to learn how to adjust to the whole incarceration situation and all that. That's what I had to adjust to. When I came home, I just had to be the person that I was supposed to be. And I have I had difficulties, babe? My own difficulties being here.
Yeah. I think a lot of his difficulties
are like
came from being incarcerated and then coming into society and just not having to deal with that anxiety, to knowing that it's okay, having to deal with those past experiences in there and kind of tying it into right now, and him having to understand that there is a difference. You're in two different places. I think that was his biggest struggle. Like he said, it was all mental.
Yeah. It's hard. It's like we talk about post-traumatic stress disorder.
Yes, absolutely. He definitely
I got
has
that. I do have that.
He does have it. He absolutely does. And there are times where I had to adjust to him to help accommodate him having to deal with that because of what he has experienced when he was incarcerated.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about your love story. Like, how did you meet, and how does because your two's background is so different. Like, how did you two come together and forge?
I got to tell the story because I tell it the truth.
No,
babe. I'm gonna tell the truth.
No,
this girl was running around chasing me.
Tell
the truth.
He always lied.
She was running around.
When I first met this man, I had to mentally prepare myself, mentally and spiritually, before I even met him. Because like you said, we have two different lives, two different backgrounds. The things that he's gone through, I myself haven't experienced, but I've gone through my own trials and tribulations. And I think if I didn't have gone through those different things throughout my life, I wouldn't have been able to be the woman that he needed me to be today. So when I first met him, he was actually working at a nightclub at one of his odd jobs that he had. And when he approached me, I wasn't there mentally to be with anyone. I was set on my career, focusing on myself and loving myself. I was 100% in love with myself and okay with being alone. So when he approached me, I denied him initially. But when he came at me the second time, he approached me with the utmost respect. And I couldn't deny how upfront he was and how open he was in getting to know me. Not just, just one of those one-nighters. He wanted to know who I was. And I think by him doing that, that really made me, take a second look at him and really step back and really evaluate the man that I could potentially have a future with.
I love that. What's your version? What's your side of the story?
Well,
let me tell you what really happened. All right. I'm going to tell you the truth. This is the truth, literally. I was working at a club doing security, and she came in, and I was amazed by her beauty and her height. So I joked with her at the door, And I stood outside for like 30 minutes telling the other bouncer, I was like, man, I'm gonna go talk to her. I'm gonna talk. He was like, man, you ain't gonna talk to no girl. Because I never talked to nobody. So I was like, I'm gonna go talk to her. And so I went in there and I stared at her a little too long because she caught me staring at her.
Yes.
I was trying to build my little character up. And I went over there and I was like, excuse me, man. What'd I say? Excuse me, man. What's your name? Or can I have your number?
You said, excuse me, ma'am. May I have your name?
May I have your name? And she said, oh, here we go with this again.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, that was her words. And so I said,
I wasn't having it. I was in, my own world at that moment.
I told her, I apologized. And I told her I didn't want to ruin her day. I said, excuse me, sorry. Don't want to ruin your day. I appreciate it. Peace. And she told me, that I was all right. And once she said that I was all right, I reevaluated and came back, and we're still here today.
Nice.
We haven't left each other's side?
We haven't left each other's side.
How long you two been together for?
How long we been together?
How long we been together?
I won't start no trouble.
Right. It'll be 2 years in March.
Okay. Got it. So this question is for you, Mr. Heavily Motivated. Tell me something you want sisters to know about the Black man.
We're all different. And we all have what I want sisters to know about the Black man is that we are all different. We all have our struggles. We all have our issues. And we don't want to talk all the time. Sometimes silence works for us. Don't try to force us to talk, because when we go out into society, once we leave the household, we deal with so many different threats. We deal with threats from people that look like us. We deal with threats from people that don't look like us, whether it's male or female, whether it's our color or a different color. We deal with all these threats, and sometimes our certainty of making it home isn't guaranteed, and we play these things throughout our head. And of course, we want to be your protector, but we have to learn to protect ourselves and protect our own freedom first. So that's what I think that sisters got to understand, is that we have stress. Like, the police get behind me and I don't do nothing illegal. The police get behind me, I still have anxiety attacks.
Yeah.
And sometimes I might bring it home. But if I just have like a minute to chill out, be quiet, be to myself, I work through it, And that's what I think sisters got to realize, is that we're out here in the workforce competing against people that's been in the workforce for a long time. I'm making the same money that someone that's 10 years younger than me is making, and trying to bring it to the table and support my children, which isn't the sister's fault, because I had the children before I met her, but it's still an issue. So my money goes into more places. So it doesn't seem like it's enough.
Yeah.
And that stresses the brother out a little bit, because you feel like you're financially inadequate sometimes. Your girl say, for instance, I want to go to Red Lobster, and you thinking like, dang, I just paid my son's cell phone bill and got to buy my other child some boots,
Yeah, but and you're doing it. You're there for your kids.
That's right.
Yeah, but then it turns around and I don't know. Sometimes it just be up here mentally stressful because you feel inadequate, and especially with people that's transitioning from out of the street life where they had the money to go into the store and see stuff that someone wants and you can't buy it for the first time in your life. You can't afford to purchase what you're used to purchasing plenty of. It leads to other things. And I can go on, because it would lead to smoking and drinking. But for a person that stops smoking and drinking, you're stuck with, how do you deal with this stress? How do you deal with this hurt, or or whatever you feel like you're not powerful or valuable? How do you deal with that? Because you don't have the weed or the alcohol as an outlet. So you deal with that? I just suck it in and chew it up and just throw it out. I build bricks up in front of me. Okay. I take it all in real quick, chew it up, realize the situation, and just walk on past it, because I'm focusing on something further down the road. So that's how I deal with it. But it's an issue. I deal with it all the time. We was out the other day, and I wanted to buy my whole family shoes, but I know I couldn't. So,
Miss Lakita, how do you support him and yourself too, and the relationship when there's, there's that, like we talked about earlier, that PTSD from him being incarcerated, coming out, trying to just be a Black man, try to reintroduce himself to society, and just all these things. Like, how do you support what clearly is an intelligent man, but who's had some strikes against him? How do you support him, like, emotionally and mentally?
I think I composite all of the strengths. Everything that's his flaw, I feel like I fulfill. There's no weakness when we're together. So wherever he lacks, I'm going to definitely make sure that I fulfill that need, whether it's financially, whether it's emotionally or mentally. I will definitely be that backbone for him. And I think that that was the most important thing about our relationship, that I have the ability to be that backbone for him, give him that support system, being able to understand when he needs that second to breathe, give him that time. But I also was able to help, I don't want to say educate him, but in a sense, I was educating him on the things that he was not, able to have, I guess, from his past. So the things that I've gathered from my upbringing, like, for example, I was raised, my father was a pastor. My father worked, my mom worked, my dad had multiple degrees. So I was raised in a household where I did not see drugs. That wasn't my thing. My family, my parents didn't even drink. So when it came to supporting the man within the house, cooking, cleaning, being there for the children, everything that was needed, I'm definitely that backbone, and I'm there to fulfill those needs. And I think that's where I play the most major part, is that I know what it looks like, and I am definitely there to show him, guide him, and support him in any way.
That's incredible, because I hear, like, a lot of feminists in the back of my mind said, no, she shouldn't do that. She shouldn't cook and clean and blah, 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 blah. And she's an independent Black woman. And I'm
yes. I am a independent Black woman to the fullest. My mom was a very strong-minded Black woman, but she still know when to play her role within the household.
There it is.
And even with my father was very ill. So even though he was ill and he wasn't able to work, my mom was more of the dominant one within the household. But still, when it was time for my dad to speak, we listened. So that's something that I was raised in doing, and that's something that I have brought over to my relationship, and I will continue respecting him and understanding that he is, one of the major heads in this house, because there's multiple heads in this house.
What do you have to say, Mr. Heavily Motivated?
Well, I love you, baby.
I love you too.
That's all I would say. But I do it for the feminists that's out there thinking that, I cook, I clean, I wash clothes. You never wash clothes, really?
No, not really.
I always wash clothes, fold them. I work on her car.
Nice.
I do her hair.
Yeah.
Nice.
I do my stuff.
Absolutely. We absolutely balance each other out. If I'm working late, he's going to cook dinner. There has to be a balance. If he's going to wash the clothes, then I'm going to clean all the bathrooms and I wash the dishes. There's a balance. It's not just one party doing everything. There has to be balance.
So what do you say to those folks who think that, the Black woman or the woman in general is just not supposed to be doing all that stuff because she makes money or, whatever the case may be? Like, what do you say to those folks? But she's single. She's unsatisfied.
She's going to stay single. She's going to stay single.
In my opinion, you have to reevaluate yourself and what is most important to you. I make a good amount of money. Yeah, I do not honestly need to have a partner. I am fully capable of supporting myself financially if needed. However, there are things that money can't buy. And so that's where you have to understand what do you care most for? If being financially stable and alone is your thing, then that's definitely your thing, but you have to have some type of balance within any relationship. You can't have it all. Something's going to have to give. You're gonna have to be that support. You're gonna have to do something. Yes, sometimes I go to work, come home, I cook, I clean, I do those things, but that's something that, you know, those are my values. That's something that I was raised on, and that's something that I can deal with. So once that woman has identified her things that she can and cannot do, she also has to realize what's most important to her.
So values and communicating that probably early on in the relationship.
Absolutely. Early on. I definitely was very vocal with him in the beginning of our relationship. Letting him know what I will and will not tolerate.
So why do you think some people stay in like toxic relationships knowing that they're toxic and abusive?
I know the answer to that. The answer to that, I have this whole theory is that dysfunction attracts dysfunction. So me being a dysfunctional man with a lot of hangups in my life, a lot of problems in my life, and a lot of issues that I've never resolved, the best thing that I would do is go find a female with a lot of dysfunction in her life and a lot of problems and issues and bad kids and broke down car. So I can constantly fix her stuff and get her kids straight and buy her clothes and work on her car and tell her how to spend her money and tell her this and how to talk and how to dress, because that gives me an opportunity never to focus on my dysfunction. See what I'm saying? That's why dysfunction attracts dysfunction, because as long as I'm focused on fixing her, I never have to fix myself.
That's right.
And that's the hardest thing to do, is fix yourself. I can fix her all day and I could do it all the time, keep arguments going, doing that. But that's why people stay in toxic relationships, because that dysfunction in their life allows them not to see the dysfunction in their own life. That's my opinion on that. But some people just are insecure and don't know any better.
So what do you consider cheating in a relationship? Is it texting, talking, going all the way? What's your take on that?
Well, it depends with me. It depends. It depends on the type of cheating we're doing. If this is a physical or a mental type of cheat, I definitely would classify those things as cheating. If you're engaging in text messages or phone calls with someone that you automatically feel uncomfortable with, that's a red flag, and that's an alert to you to know that most likely this is cheating. You should not be having these conversations. You should not be going out, meeting up with exes or new people, whoever, knowing that if I cannot go with him, or if I cannot see the conversation that you're having, most likely it's cheating.
I've heard that. Yeah, that's been the common response. What about you, Mr. Heavily Motivated?
I think everything's cheating. Everything is cheating. If you let the person cut in front of you in the grocery store line, you just cheated. Why you let them go first? If you hold the door for him, you cheated. If he say hello to you and you say anything more than hey, how you doing, you cheated.
Oh my gosh. You're a character, I can tell. So what do you think that, as a Black community, what do you think we need to work on to heal ourselves in our community?
I think we need to really evaluate ourselves mentally first. There are a lot of mental issues that we're all dealing with that is toxic, and that is it's a generational issue that we're having. I think once we evaluate that and truly seek help and understand that this is generational sickness that we're dealing with, and get to the deep-rooted issue, then we would definitely be able to progress.
What do you say?
She spoke about it on one level. I want to go on a everyday level, just right on the street corner, right at the Walmart, right at 7-Eleven. Pull your pants up, first of all. Don't nobody want to see your butt crack. So this is what's destroying the community, the Black community, whatever. You got to pull your pants up. Don't go out in public with flip-flops and pajamas on. You have to brush your teeth. All right. You got to clean the coal out of your eyes. And they need to stop standing outside with the signs talking about feed the homeless, or I need money or donations. I think those things are really destroying us and giving us a low ranking, because, I mean, the whole sagging thing has gone totally out of control. And brothers are at Walmart in pajamas. And it's ridiculous.
Well, let's think about this. If that is the case, and you say that they need to do these things, how were they taught these things? In order for us to really dig deep into identifying how to resolve the issues that these young men are having within their adulthood or as teenagers, we need to really see how they're being taught these things.
It's learned behavior.
It's learned behavior. This is
but somebody has to
generational.
tell them straight up without
Correct.
going into the whole pie in the
Correct.
sky philosophy. I want to talk about the piece of pie that's on your plate, not the pie in the sky. And just say, brother, pull your pants up. Brother, brush your teeth. Brother, you got something in the corner of your eye. Brother, don't look at everybody like that. And another thing they got to realize, and I tell people all the time, is that every female that talk to you don't want to sleep with you.
Thank you.
I hate that because I got a couple friends that every time a girl says something to them, or one of her friends come around, yo, Thurston, what's up with that? I don't know. I really don't think she wants to sleep with you, bro. She just was talking to you.
But you have to also understand that this is something that they were taught, that they identified, that they've seen through the media, to think that these are things that's acceptable behavior. And there's so many people who have agreed to those type of behaviors that they're displaying.
Yeah.
So that's something that we definitely have to uneducate the ignorance and re-educate the intelligence to let them know that those are not acceptable behaviors.
Yeah. So I talk to them. If I go to a business and they're in there, if I go to someone's job and they're at work in an inappropriate way that I think is inappropriate, I tell them straight up. I don't care how long the line is. I don't care who's in there. I don't care who's the supervisor, how big, muscular, strong, skinny. I let them know. Pull your pants up, bro. You at work. I got to argue at Taco Bell. I told them, pull your pants up. You at work, bro.
Yes. And even to my ladies who are showing themselves, that's willingly showing, their breasts. Come on, ladies, dress appropriate. You never know who you're going to meet. I go into different establishments all the time, seeking for people who know how to be professional, who look neat, trying to seek, different job opportunities, or to, just to be a part of, some type of speaking engagement, something. You never know who you're going to meet. And that's why you should always present yourself as if you are the queen that you are at all times.
Yeah. See, I would love to have you all at the top of the social media spectrum. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to see, I'm not going to name drop, but there's certain artists and athletes out there and famous people that look like us, and they just don't represent us the way that this is being represented right now. You know what I mean? And like you said, it gives us a bad name, for one. It makes other cultures look at us and say, see, they don't care about themselves, so why should we?
Exactly.
And then it has the kiddos coming up thinking that that's the way it should be because that's what we're seeing on TV, all over love and hip hop and all this. You know what I'm saying? But that's just not what we're about. And that's why I feel like platforms like this are very important. Conversations like this are very important to showcase Black love, intelligence, and just supporting one another without having to show the boobs and the butt and the, what I'm saying? And the gold grill and just the ignorance of it all. And I'm not mad at those things. I have to be clear when I say that. I'm not mad at those things. I just don't want to see those things plastered all over the place every time we look on our phones and on TV.
Correct. You're right. Absolutely.
Yeah. So what are 3 things that you both do to help you stay grounded?
Go ahead, first, babe.
I work out.
Good. My favorite answer.
Work out.
What's your 3? You give your 3. I give mine.
Oh, we give 3 separate or 3 together?
Yeah, 3 separate.
Okay, I think working out, praying, that definitely helps us stay grounded. For our 3rd one, I think communication. Once we communicated with each other and we received enlightenment on a situation, that definitely gives us clarity. It gives me clarity. I love communicating.
Do you wait a while to communicate, or
no,
you're like, no, we're doing this right now?
No, we're doing it right now. Right. I'm gonna. One thing that I've learned that I am going to start doing is I'm going to ask if he's in the right state of mind mentally, because I'm starting to identify that I've been bombarding him with my negativity, and I don't want negativity on top of negativity. So I just want to make sure he's at a clear mind. That's what I've tried to observe first before bringing it to his attention, if he's at a clear mind. But now I think the communication aspect of actually asking him is better.
Yeah.
But because I do not wait. If we have a problem, no, we're selling it right now. Stop what you're doing. We're fixing it now.
She's serious. My 3 things. I don't communicate. I do not like communication. So that's not any in my ranking. My 3 things to stay, what's the question again?
What are 3 things you do to help you stay grounded?
3 things to stay grounded. First of all, I wake up early in the morning before anybody else and spend time alone, spend time by myself because I like silence. So that's the first thing I do is just an hour or two alone every morning. I get up at 4:30, usually 4:30 or 5 o'clock every morning, just to be alone because I charge up for the day. Second of all, I work out, and as far as what helps me stay grounded in my relationship is I shut up. That's my key. I shut up. I do not respond with the stuff that comes to my head or the first thing that comes to my head because I've learned that it's not the right thing and I just need to be quiet and listen.
This is a great conversation. We're to close up the interview. I wanted to know, what advice would you give someone that is like going through a hard time in their life right now? What advice would you give someone who's going through a hard time in their life right now?
You got to listen to people. You really do got to listen. And the information comes from the weirdest people. And I told this story 1,000 times. But I was in prison. I was locked up. And my case manager, this lady, she really cared about the situation. Her name was Miss Holbrook. She was my case manager. And she did an evaluation on me. And she told me some things that I didn't like. Just out of the evaluation that she did. I didn't like the response she gave me, but I listened to her and made the necessary changes. And by listening to a perfect stranger actually changed my life where I'm at today. So you have to be teachable and you got to listen.
Yeah.
That's my advice. Don't think you know it all.
I think that's my biggest advice is just have faith and identify where you are mentally. Just take a deep breath.
I like that. So listen and have faith. That goes together, right?
Yes, yes.
Because you have to be teachable. Like you have to, it's people, and the weird thing is like you got to sit down with people that don't look like you. Yeah. Whether it's a different sex or a different race or different nationality, you have to sit down. If you surround yourself with everybody that looks like you, you're sort of at a disadvantage because other people in the world are dealing with everybody. Mm-hmm. So that's what I think. You got to sit down with people that's different and challenge yourself to some conversations and take their opinions. Not saying everybody's going to tell you the right thing, but you have to listen to what's being said.
Yeah, I like that. Well, thank you for letting me interview you both. You did a great job. I'm so excited.
Thank you.
Tell our viewers where they can find you. Shout out your social medias, please.
That's right.
You can find me everywhere
at Heavily Motivated.
Whether it's YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, even the email is heavilymotivated@gmail.com. So follow us. You can find us there. I appreciate your time. Yes. Appreciate you sowing these seeds into our life, and I appreciate the conversation we had because I got to learn a lot about her just talking with her. I was even taking notes. So I really appreciate it.
Yes, really, it's truly a blessing. Thank you. Really appreciate having this conversation. Like he said, I know everything about him because I'm the talker and I make him talk. So
it's not funny.
But thank you so much. This was fun.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. Well, thank you again all for watching, and be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, follow us. Follow your boy, Heavily Motivated. You'll see him online. Follow his beautiful queen. And follow me, your girl, T.Speaks.
Yes.
Yes. And be sure to stay tuned for another segment of Understanding the Black Man. Till next time, love you guys. Bye.